In this video, I'm going to show you some table etiquette mistakes that you make, mistakes that you commit without even realizing or knowing that you're doing them wrong. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the Etiquette and Protocol channel. I'm Juliana Santiago, an international etiquette specialist and co-founder of the Institute of Etiquette and Protocol. And in this video, we're going to talk a little more about common mistakes that I always notice people make and that many times they don't even realize. Mistakes that certainly harm your image a lot while you're at the table sharing a meal with someone. And if you enjoy the videos here on the channel, or if you just arrived through this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like this video and also share this content with someone you think might enjoy it. And if you want to improve your table manners, or if you know someone who wants to behave better and understand better how to use a fork and knife, go ahead and share this video. I would love to get your recommendations here. So the first mistake people make is using the fork and knife incorrectly. A lot of people make mistakes when using cutlery. They don't really know how to hold the utensils. One thing that's important for us to think about is this right here, right? Using cutlery as if it were a shield or putting too much force on the utensils is completely wrong. It's inelegant and lacks movement precision. You can use your fork, for example, as if it were a pen. Many people wonder if you can use the fork with your right hand. According to the most traditional etiquette, or even in Europe, we always use the fork in the left hand. But nowadays, especially with the rise of American etiquette, especially when it comes to table manners, we can, yes, use the utensil with our dominant hand in the case of the fork, okay? As for the knife, we should always use it in the right hand because the right hand is the one we have more precision with. I know that right-handed people also end up having precision with their left hand because I joke that we don't have skill for anything. I'm right-handed, by the way. But we can cut with our left hand. We can do a few things with our left hand, but cutting is something we can do, right? So ideally, you should try to keep using the knife in your right hand. And you can choose which fork works best. So if your fork were a pen, right? If you were going to write your name, you should always support your thumb to give it some stability, right? And especially your index finger to hold it. Remember that you should never hold the cutlery too close to the tip, nor too close to the part that touches the food, okay? So this is not the correct way. If you want to use the fork with your left hand throughout the whole meal, then ideally you should use it. Always with your index finger here, just like with the index finger on the knife as well. Another way that's also correct and that you can use the fork, especially if you want to use the fork in your left hand, is to place your index finger aligned with the fork facing down. The same goes for the position to hold the knife, the index finger, and then you basically use these three fingers here. Look, this one, and this one. Then you're going to grip it, remembering that you shouldn't hold it too close to the tip or too close to the edges in the part where it already touches the food. How you hold cutlery is mostly habit, so always try to hold it correctly and practice at home. So when you're at a restaurant, at a lunch, or at someone's house, you'll already be used to doing this process the right way. It's no use watching this video, understanding the right way, but still doing it wrong. So take advantage of this content that's here on the internet for you, so you can start changing some of your habits. Another thing is also respecting the position of the cutlery. At the beginning of the meal, the forks that will be used, they are on the left side and the knife, it's here on the right side, okay? The glasses will be on the right. I moved them so you can see the knives better, okay? And here we have a napkin with a napkin ring. But during the meal and at the end of the meal, we have a few positions, right? Of the cutlery, which mean and communicate something that's happening with us at that moment. Well, I don't know if that was confusing, but I'll explain it to you. During the meal, whenever you need to talk, the ideal thing is for you to rest your cutlery, okay? So you can cross them, the fork and the knife resting inside the plate. Never leave your cutlery resting on the table like this, okay? That's wrong. And when you finish your meal, imagining your plate is a clock, you can place them at the 420 position. Fork first, then knife. Deal. On the internet, there are some images showing different cutlery positions, like if you want to signal that you didn't like the food or that you want more. But that's wrong. In fact, in several etiquette groups, even international ones that I'm part of, people always discuss this kind of image and it's considered wrong. Imagine going to someone's house and signaling to them that you didn't like the dish. It doesn't make any sense. The cutlery language that's going around is a little dangerous. And I know that a lot of people share this content on the internet as if it were true, but I'm telling you right now that it's not. And only a few of these positions that are circulating on the internet are actually correct. So the position you finished in and the one you're paused in, that's correct. It's a way for you to communicate with the waiter, the hostess, and the people who are sharing the table with you. But for example, oh, I didn't like the dish, I want to have another serving, okay? These positions are wrong and don't follow etiquette rules. They don't make any sense. An etiquette rule that people break very often, especially when it comes to etiquette. At the table, it's starting to eat before everyone has been served. Ideally, when you're sharing the table with someone, everyone should start eating together so you have that shared moment at the table. So you should wait for everyone to be served before you start eating. If it's a buffet, you should wait for everyone to go to the buffet, serve themselves, and when everyone is at the table, then start the meal. Of course, when we have very large tables, like at a party, it's hard to wait for everyone to be served before you serve yourself too. It can also happen, for example, that you're at a restaurant and your dish arrives much earlier than everyone else's because of a mistake by the place. And in that case, you can even start eating before, but ideally you should wait for someone to arrive so you can say something. Juliana, you can start eating, feel free, otherwise your food will get cold. So it's not nice to start this process without checking with people first. This shows attention and care, and also that you want to share that moment with other people. Another mistake that people often forget and make very frequently is about bringing the cutlery to their mouth, right? People have the habit of bringing their mouth to the cutlery. No, that's wrong. The ideal is for you to always maintain good posture. That's why I don't recommend leaning too much against the back of the chair, especially when you're at the table, because that won't help you maintain good posture. So move your back a little away from the back of the chair and the fork should always go to your mouth. Of course, there will be some foods, for example, spaghetti, soup, or even Japanese fried food, where you may need to lean forward slightly. But these are just some details and some more specific foods. But in general, the utensils come to you. No, you go to the utensil. Another very common mistake, which may seem simple to some people, is eating while making noise. Many people have the habit of eating, chewing, and making a lot of noise. Be careful. If you eat and you can hear it, when you're eating alone, you can hear the sound of the food. Probably other people too, when they share the table with you, are also hearing it. This is totally unpleasant for those who share that moment with you. And it can really harm your image because it even gives a bit of a gross feeling. Isn't that interesting? Another thing is also the use of the napkin. The napkin may come with a napkin holder or not. That will depend a lot on the situation. Here I have a napkin with a napkin holder, so I should place the napkin holder here on the left side. And I'm going to open the napkin or leave it open on my lap. The cloth napkin is an item that many people have doubts about, mainly because it's not part of the everyday table, Or even during a meal at a buffet, at a restaurant, for example, where you have to weigh your food. Usually in more casual restaurants, we use paper napkins, but the cloth napkin is something that really makes a difference. There are people who understand table etiquette and people who don't. So every time you sit down somewhere, the napkin should go on your lap, unless you're at someone's house. And then you should wait for the hostess to place her napkin first, and only then should you place yours. Another thing is using your phone during a meal. It's totally inappropriate to be on your phone when you're at the table with other people. And the phone, honestly, to me is the biggest problem nowadays. It seems like every video I make, I end up talking about the phone. But it's because the phone is present in so many contexts, in so many situations, that it's always something that takes away our attention, harms the way we present ourselves, and affects our focus and attention. So, if you leave your phone there on the table, often the notifications and things that pop up will catch your attention. And then you'll want to check messages on WhatsApp, messages on Instagram. You'll want to keep fiddling with your phone, looking at work stuff. And that moment you have there to share with other people, especially when we're talking about moments at the table, will be lost. So remember to keep your phone in your bag somewhere else, and it shouldn't be on the table. Another mistake that's also very common, but it needs to be included in this video because unfortunately, it's a mistake that many adults make. It's about talking with your mouth full. People who have this habit often don't even notice. Besides being extremely gross, it's impolite and doesn't give a good impression of who you are. People end up focusing on the food and not on what you're saying, so it's totally inelegant. Another thing that a lot of people do is drink while they have food in their mouth. So if you want to drink something after eating, swallow your food first and then drink, because otherwise your glass gets all dirty. You know, it looks like food on the side. It's not completely elegant and it won't be pleasant for other people. And it's important for us to emphasize that mealtime is a moment of connection. It's a time for conversation. And it's not a good idea to keep drawing attention to things you do. So talking with your mouth full, not behaving properly, not knowing how to use a napkin. All of that will draw a lot of attention to what you do instead of drawing attention to what you say, to the ideas you share. Have you ever imagined, for example, at a business dinner where you need to present an idea, you're there talking to the client, wanting to present something to someone? This can be extremely negative. And this also happens in social situations where you're there sharing the table with other people, and you don't want the focus to be on what you do, but rather on your presence. You want people to pay attention to you and also see you as a confident person, someone who feels secure in that situation. That's why, if you want to improve your table manners, I recommend that you take my table etiquette training. It's a quick, easy, simple, and very educational training. It even covers foods that are more difficult or delicate with practical situations so you can really experience the process at the table and be able to replicate it at home. This training is 100% online and you can watch it wherever you are. Take advantage and click on the link in the description because there's a special discount for you with this link. It goes automatically. If you're also watching, for example, on your home television, now point your phone at this QR code and you'll be directed to our website already with the discount applied. Seize this opportunity and join the training. Another big mistake is also people who have the habit of rushing, right? They eat there in a very rushed way. When we talk about table manners, we need to remember that this moment is meant to be shared, to be experienced there with other people. So you need to go with the flow, right? And keep up with the meal along with the other people. If someone is eating, you need to follow along with them. Of course, we shouldn't eat too slowly either. But if you've noticed that you're always the first one to finish your meal, you always finish first. And you end up waiting a long time for other people to finish. Try to hold back and start eating a little more slowly. A good idea for you is to start putting less food on your fork. You might be eating too fast because you put too much food on your fork. Chewing more can help. Not to mention that it will be good for you and for your digestion process. Now, I want you to comment below, what is the main table etiquette mistake you see out there that really bothers you a lot? It could be something I mentioned in this video or something I didn't specifically show here. Maybe I'll come back with a part 2 using your comments. What do you think? If you like content like this, be sure to follow the Etiquette and Protocol channel. I'll leave a video about table etiquette here on the side. Remember that our table etiquette training is on special offer. Just click the link below. Take advantage of this offer. I would love to have you as a student at our school. I'll stop here for now. See you later.